Well. Last week I wasn't able to record because of Mother Nature. But I will tell you, I'm back, and no Heather O'Rourke to boot. I'm dedicating the show this week to a guy who was a fan of the show and a member of one of the greatest backfields in Mynderse history. Him and Mike Roberti made a heck of a duo for the '83 Mynderse football team. Sadly, both of them are now reunited up in heaven. Then last night, Donnie Van Cleef lost his battle against lymphoma. My condolences to Lori, Kaylee, and all of the Van Cleef family. This show is in his memory. First, I do want to talk about the big games for the Cuse. Yes, it is. Very big games. Lousville and Saturday, the Orange out against Duke. Yes, this is really when the start of when it all supposedly is going to come together for the Orange. Let's hope, as it seems as though against the good teams of the ACC, we fall on our face, a la like against North Carolina State last week. But now we got two big ones in the Dome. We got Louisville coming in tomorrow night, and then the big Orange out. Hey, Mike Krzyzewski, you're not in Krzyzewskiville or Durham, or haven't got the Cameron Crazies. It's not Krzyzewskiville, it's Bayheimburg. And you know what? We're going to throw you a big welcoming party. That's what I'll tell you, Mike Krzyzewski. And that's what I'll tell you, Zion Williamson. You think you're so big. You think you can dunk it better than anybody else. Hey, you ain't Chocolate Thunder Daryl Dawkins. At least he could dunk with some flair. Or you ain't Dr. Dunkenstein, Zion Williamson. Yeah, Duke comes in, but we got the chance to beat Duke for a second time this year. And Duke is the number one ranked team in the country. But let's not look too far ahead, guys. Because guess what? North Carolina and Virginia are on the horizon as the season winds down. Yes, it is. Big times in Syracuse land. This is when it all supposedly is going to come together, hopefully, for the Orange. And hopefully we aren't on a bed of nails waiting to see whether the Cuse has to get into the NCAA tournament again. But big wins, hopefully, against Louisville and Duke will help our cause. And while I talk about basketball, I'm going from talking about the Orange to talking about Section 5 this week. It's tournament time. We've reached that point in the season. And let's hope it's a good road for both Mynderse and Waterloo. For the Mynderse boys, it's going to be a little rougher. This was a transition season for the Mynderse boys, and they are ranked 7th in Class B2. Their first game will be against Early College of Rochester tomorrow night in the blue, white, and red monster, the former green monster. Yeah. They painted it, so I can't call it the Green Monster anymore. But who cares? It's still Mynderse's home gym. And of course, Waterloo's got a big game Saturday night for the boys, 'cause it's their rivals, Geneva, in Class B1. Should be an interesting one for the boys. And for the girls, yep, Mynderse and Waterloo will collide in the blue, white, and red monster Friday night. And you know what? There'll be a raucous crowd there. And Jocelyn Mansell, welcome back to the floor, young lady. I've been praying for you to rehab your knee, and you know what? You could be a huge help to the Blue Devils. Unless they decide not to play you. And you know what? There's a lot of things I have to say, but I'm not going to say. Hopefully, some Waterloo players aren't going to get clotheslined, if you know what I mean. But I'm not going to rant on about that. I'm just hoping for a good Section 5 tournament, guys. It's that time. we'll see what Mynderse and Waterloo are made of. Good luck to all the teams in their quest for a Section 5 crown, especially Coach Pittifer and the Waterloo boys, who've resurrected that program after years of obscurity, and also to the Mynderse girls, who look like they're starting to put it together a little bit. Good luck, all of you. Well, I'm going from talking about Section 5 basketball to two sports whose seasons are on the horizon, although one has started. First, NASCAR is back. Yep, thing is, there's a lot of changes for NASCAR, especially Brian France no longer is part of the deal. He stepped down and his uncle is back. Because you know what? NASCAR has been in a free fall the last few years. A lot of the changes they've tried to make aren't really working all that good. And also, there's a lot of unfamiliar names who are starting to come to the forefront. Of course, one of them is the godson of Richard Childress. Austin Dillon, anyone? But of course, they had a pretty good season opener, if you want to call it Destruction Derby. And if you wanted to wait 4.5 hours for it to end, Denny Hamlin wound up winning the Daytona 500 for the second time in 4 years. But who wants to wait through 2 long red flags to see who's going to win the Daytona 500? You know what? It should just go back to the way it was. Even if it ends under caution, yeah, it'll end there, and you don't have to wait an eternity and hopefully not go when you're waiting for the Daytona 500. And you know what? I hope they do make some of those changes, and maybe there's some more there. Because you know what? The racing's kind of becoming boring. And you know what? This generation kind of has gone away from watching NASCAR and Daytona and all that. You know, let's hope Mr. France can work out the kinks. And also, baseball's back going. Yep, the players have reported to their spring training camps, and it should be an interesting season. But you know what? They call it the Grapefruit League, and they call it the Cactus League. Grapefruit, because a lot of the teams go down to Florida. And you know what? Hopefully, it ain't some citrusy league. And if for the teams that go to Arizona, hopefully they're not going to be in a prickly situation, if you know what I mean. The Boston Red Sox are the defending champions, but of course, you know what the team's lurking? The New York Yankees. Should be an interesting baseball season coming up, especially with quite a few of their free agents not signed yet. Although at this time, Manny Machado supposedly has signed a pretty good contract. I hear it's in the neighborhood of $300 million. Pretty good money. But where is Bryce Harper going to end up? And last but not least, I want to talk about something I heard with the Memphis School District. I guess there's a bill trying to pass through, the Tennessee House or the Memphis House that is going to require adults to dress in appropriate style when they're dropping off or picking up their kids. Well, you know what? You've seen all these adults, all still in slippers, still in their pajamas, especially when they drop off their kid. They come in. LLB. You know, that's part of the deal, wondering what the adults are not wearing. But of course, we gotta have appropriateness, you know what? Because apparently sometimes down there in Memphis, all they've worn is teddies or lingerie. Do we really need to see that? I think it's a good bill. Everybody should look good in a suit and tie, dropping off or picking up their kid. Of course, that's my opinion. That's all for this week. Good luck, Mynderse, Waterloo, and Syracuse. Beat Duke!